Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes. Espero que estén todos muy bien. Bienvenidos a la sesión La institución más adecuada, ¿qué buscar en una universidad? Mi nombre es Belinda Pérez y soy parte del equipo organizador de The Student World. Queremos agradecerlos por acompañarnos, ya que estamos seguros que toda la información que escuchen será de gran beneficio al momento de decidir en qué institución seguir sus estudios universitarios. Tendremos la participación de nuestros expertos por parte de la University of Wisconsin, a Sarah Stackhouse, de Columbia College Chicago, a Sky Rust, y de McEwan University, a Victoria Riesling, quienes les compartirán su experiencia cuando ellos comenzaron a decidir qué institución, qué universidad sería la mejor para ellas, para cada una de ellas. Posterior, tendremos una sesión en la cual las tres comentarán ciertas cosas acerca de qué institución puede ser la mejor para cada uno de ustedes. Finalmente, entrarán cada una de ellas en información más detallada acerca de la universidad que representan. Al final, tendremos una sección de preguntas y respuestas, un Q&A. Les pedimos que todas las preguntas que tengan nos las hagan llegar a través de esta sección. De hecho, si ven en su plataforma, hay una sección que dice Q&A. Entonces, bueno, pues comenzamos. Les agradecemos muchísimo nuevamente el que estén aquí con nosotros y por favor siéntanse en la libertad de hacer todas las preguntas que tengan, ya sea que las vayamos enviando, respondiendo al momento o al final. De cualquier manera, las trataremos de cubrir. Muchas gracias and, well, we can start. Ladies.
Hi, everyone. As Belinda said, my name is Sky Rust, and I'm the Associate Director of Columbia College Chicago's International Admissions Office. So I did my bachelor's degree from Purdue University, which is a Big Ten large institution in the US. And then I have a master's degree from the University of Illinois, Chicago, and then from where I work at Columbia College Chicago. And what I learned in the process is that the school that was right for me was one that had small classes, was one that had creative-minded students. So going back, I probably wouldn't have chosen Purdue as my bachelor university because it was really big. I had really large classes, and it wasn't as niche focused in the creative industries as I realize I love.
And I'm Sarah, and I work for the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. And so for me, I was an exchange student in Thailand for my last year of high school. And when I was there, I decided to take online classes. So I started online at a 2-year technical college, as you can see listed there, in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I think for me at the time, that was exactly what I needed. You know, I just wanted to get my feet wet a little bit, try out some classes and see what I liked or what I didn't like, what subject I wanted to study. And then from there, I finished my 2-year business management degree. And then they had an articulation or a partnership with Robert Gordon University in Scotland. And so by process of elimination, you know, I love to study abroad. I love, you know, global things and opportunities. So I was like, yep, that's perfect for me. And it just ended up working out perfectly, you know, going seamlessly from a 2-year technical institution then to going abroad to a 4-year university. And so I absolutely love my time in Aberdeen. And then I decided, yep, I want to do my master's straight after I finish my bachelor's. And then I decided to go to England. And so mostly I would say in Aberdeen and in England, you know, I chose those institutions particularly because of the majors that they offered. Studying international education was something kind of specific. And so in the UK, there was a few universities that really specialized in that. So I would say, you know, when you're finding your path about what is the best fit, you'll just kind of have to see what feels like home. And when it feels right, when it just clicks, then you'll know.
Chicos, una de nuestras compañeras está teniendo problemas con internet, entonces vamos a continuar la sesión y en cuanto ella vuelva a conectarse, entonces les compartirá su experiencia. So how about if we just continue, ladies, with the next slide? Thank you.
So we're really going to have a conversation about this because our job as admissions counselors is to counsel you and make sure that you are finding the university, the institution that is the best fit for you. So how do you choose what is the best fit? Where do you start? Oh, you can start with these questions that you see in front of you. This is a really good place. So the country of institution, where do you want to go? You know, Sarah talked about how she had studied outside the US in high school and decided later on that she also wanted to study at university outside the US. I decided I wanted to stay in the US for university. You know, you might decide you want to go to Canada or go to the US. When you can narrow it down by country, that automatically helps, of course. And of course, the language of instruction. So are you comfortable studying at university level completely in English or completely in another language? Are you looking for a university that might have a really strong Spanish language program so that you can learn a bunch of literature while you are studying fully in English? There's so many options. In the US alone, there's over 4,000 universities, and that means, and all of them have something to offer. So they really allow you to very much personalize your experience so that you can get exactly what you want. So type and size of the institution. Do you want a really large, big university where you can be anonymous? Some people thrive that way. That way you can do your own thing. You can, you know, put your head down. You can just blend in with the crowd. You know, do you want a research institution? So a lot of big universities are considered research institutions because then they offer the PhDs and the higher degrees. Is that something that you are on track for? Are you looking for a smaller university or a university that has a niche offering? So like my school specializes in the creative industries. It specializes in arts. So I would not recommend somebody who is considering engineering versus art to study at my school. There's a school where you can study engineering and art, so you should go for it. This is the time in your life when you can really experiment with everything that fascinates you, because there's all kinds of connections that can be made. And that's when innovation happens, when you can take these things that you find interesting and blend them because you're passionate about them. So you're going to succeed with them and you're going to be creative. And you will find the university that allows you to do that. You know, where do you feel like you would thrive? Do you feel like you would thrive being in a large city? You know, Chicago is the third largest city in the US. So you are in the center of downtown Chicago. My friend Sarah, she's in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, which is a smaller city, but it's still thriving and has a vibrant college community. What feels comfortable to you? And if you have the opportunity, a really great way to see what school is the right fit for you is to come and visit. And I know that's a little difficult right now and it's a little hard to imagine, but a lot of us do offer virtual tours. So I would check out schools' websites, see if they have a virtual tour, start that way. And then if you still have time before making your decision and you can travel, come visit us. Because like Sarah said, you will know when you have found your right fit, when you have found the place that you can thrive. But a major part of the college experience is taking advantage of everything a university has to offer. So going to university, especially university in the US and Canada, is not just about going to classes. It is about engaging within the community. So how do you do that? There are all kinds of offices and activities that are not mandatory. You are not required to take them. You will not get grades for them. But you know what? That's how you become a part of the community. That's how you feel connected. That's how you make connections to get internships. That's how people get careers later on. So this is the time when you need to start choosing to engage within these opportunities. So schools have organizations, and they will typically have a list of organizations, student organizations, on their websites. This is a great place to start. So look up student organizations on the universities that you're looking at. And then when you get to the university, go to all the meetings of all the organizations that sound interesting to you. So for example, maybe you're a biology student, but you're really interested in film, join the film club. Or, at Columbia, we have a comedy show that's outside of class time. It's a student organization that puts on a comedy show every week. I'm sure there's all kinds of opportunities at Eau Claire as well, but that you find those things to make a complete picture. So if during a semester you are taking really difficult classes, you're taking calculus and chemistry and literature of the Middle Ages, but you really want to do something more creative, like be involved in a music ensemble, a student organization is where you can do that. And a lot of organizations travel and visit other universities. They perform in other locations. So it's a good way to help you build your community, help you practice a skill set that you don't necessarily have to take a class for, but also to take advantage of this time in your life when you can try all these different things. This is when you can explore and become who you are as a human. So all your hobbies and interests now, look for them in your student organizations, but then try new things. And just use universities' websites to compare and contrast these. Sarah, take over.
Yeah, I absolutely really appreciate your perspective because you talk a lot about passion. And I think that's something, as you're looking to become an international student, you're really discovering that passion within yourself. What is it that you love to do? What is the purpose that you want to serve with your education in the future, right? How do you plan to give back to your local community where you'll be studying and also in your hometown, right? And back to your family and back to the school, the ones that taught you everything you know up until this point. And when you're looking at a country, where do you want to study? The world is a big place. But just keeping in mind that, as we're looking, a lot of universities now will also have study abroad programs. So it could be something where you come study in the US and say, yep, that's where I want my main home university to be. But maybe you're spending, a year in South Africa. Maybe you're spending a year in Europe. Maybe you're actually going to the UK. Maybe you're going to study French in Canada as well, if you're into French. So there will be a lot of opportunities to make the world your classroom. And so I think what it comes down to, when you're looking at that is what are the benefits of studying in each country, right? And knowing each country is a really big place, but really, I guess it's coming back to, what are the benefits of each country and how does that suit what I'm looking for? Some of those things will be working, right? After you're done studying, what are those prospects? What is the visa process like? What is it going to be like for me to travel within the country? How far is it away from my home and how does that suit my family's needs? There's going to be a lot of different factors that help you to determine which country is going to be best suited for you. And I think the other thing that's important to remember is, there might be more than one country that's absolutely perfect for you. Maybe you're like, yep, I love the UK, I love the US, and I love Canada. So what can I do? And it really is going to come down to the education system itself, right? So if you think of the UK education versus the US education, it's actually quite different. And a lot of people think, I'm just choosing a place based on geography. But actually, when you're choosing a place of study, you're choosing a certain type of academics as well. And so I just encourage you to do some research to take a look and see which programs are more research-based or which ones are more hands-on, right? And is it going to be a midterm paper or is it going to be a group project? How am I going to be graded? All of those factors determine because you yourself as a student, you're unique in that regard. Each of us have our own way of learning and growing and, how we learn best. And so I really encourage you to take a minute take a step back and think, like, what education system suits those needs for you to help you to become the best learner that you can be. Again, as Sky was talking about the language type and size as well, I mean, all of that's going to be extremely important into helping you find that right fit. Some of you are going to be in large metropolis, right, cities now, and some of you, here I'm looking out at my yard and, we have cows outside, right? So it's going to be completely different. And maybe you want something different. Maybe you're in a really big city right now, and maybe you want to go to a smaller town and experience what it's like to have, a rural environment where there's a lot of nature around and it's quiet and it's peaceful. Or maybe you're like, you know what, I want to be in a big city where there's always something going on. And then you'll find some sizes that are more happy medium, we say, but are more in the middle, that have a balance of both worlds. So really, that's going to be important too, right? As you think about the temperature, the climate, how's that going to be? How does that fare for you, right? Are you ready to come up to Wisconsin where it's going to be freezing cold? Or are you more happy in Florida, right? Where you're getting some sun and it's going to be a tad bit warmer than, our winters. And so, there's a lot of different factors and each person has their own perspective, right? And so your friends might be choosing X, Y, and Z school, but really you need to take a moment. And I think really this whole process of figuring out what is the best fit, it all starts with reflection, right? It's taking a minute to understand who am I and what is it that I'm looking for. Another huge factor is going to be the financial bit, right? So, there might be a place that is absolutely perfect, it speaks to your heart, but isn't necessarily financially in reach with what you and your family have planned, right? And then maybe there's an institution where you never thought it would be possible, and there's, enough scholarship money to make it manageable for you. And I guess that's one of the biggest things, for me as an international student to the UK, right? It was cheaper for me to be an international student with international student scholarships to study in the UK than it was for me to be a domestic student, at some of the universities in the US. And so that's also something to think about, right? Is as you're looking at international student scholarships and what are those financial pieces, that's going to be really important in helping you make your decision, as what's affordable for you and your family. So I guess those are just a few other things. A lot of universities you'll find, right, they're all going to have the student life aspect. Every university is, right, going to have something for you to do in your free time and to help you to explore your passion. And if they don't necessarily have the club or society that you're looking for, a lot of times you can be the person that starts the club, right? And so that's just something to think about. You'll find that, especially, well, you have to compare country to country, but in the US or even in Canada, the UK, a lot of us will have the same types of clubs and organizations. So it's my best recommendation that really you see, what's the major that you're hoping to study, but then also come up with a plan B, a plan C, and maybe even a plan D. What other subjects do you like? Because you may get to your institution say, you know what, architecture is not my thing, hands up, like I need to switch my major. And then when you get to that point, right, then you're like, okay, what other subjects do I like? What are my other passions? And so when you're choosing a place, it is really important to think about, the major, the finances, where it's going to be located, but know that if you get to a place and you find out, you know what, this just is not for me, right? As we said, in the US, we have over 4,000 institutions. You have a lot of other options available to you. So know that just because you choose something, right off the bat, doesn't necessarily mean that's where you have to stay for the 4 years if you find out that it's not the best fit.
So there's 3 different institutions that are with you this evening. And just to give you an idea of some of the differences, we're just going to run through these really quickly. So Columbia College Chicago, like I mentioned, it is a private, nonprofit, liberal arts college. So college as in 4 years that focuses on the creative industries. We have about 7,000 students. We have 700 international students, and we're in Chicago, which has 3 million people. But we have 60 programs in the visual, performing, media, communication, and arts business, and they are all 4-year degrees.
Awesome. Yeah, and at University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, we are public, about 10,700 students, about 10,000 undergrad. So we're primarily going to be an undergraduate institution. So PhD and master's students, not necessarily going to be the best fit for us, but definitely focusing on undergrad. We have about 240 international students coming from a variety of different countries. And our city population, as you can see, is quite different than Chicago. Is going to be about 67,500. We have about 80 different majors and minors, and I like to say 4-ish, always we love that ish word, years, because it'll just depend on you and kind of what other opportunities you want to explore.
And then if Victoria, our colleague, comes later, she's with MacEwan University in Canada. And it looks like they are a public institution, but we'll let her talk about that if she can get on later. So here's some questions to ask yourself. Again, we talked about the ways to find the best fit. What are my interests? Where would I feel comfortable? Sarah?
Yep. And do I meet the institution's entry requirements, right? Like what testing do you need to do? What do you need to do to be prepared? What are the costs? Are there scholarships available? And will the institution give me the tools and the resources that I need in order to thrive?
Mm-hmm. So now we're going to each present for about 8 minutes on each university, and then we're going to do a Q&A with the group. Okay, so hang tight. And here we go. And if someone would help me start my video, I want to start off showing you a video about Columbia, because I think it's the best way to give you an immediate idea of who we are. So here we go.
I love Columbia's individualism. Columbia is about being yourself, embracing yourself, creating your own art.
Something attracted me here that no other school even came close to doing.
I remember walking out of the open house, looking at my mom, and my mom looking at me and saying, "This is it."
I do not know where I would be if I did not attend Columbia.
How the city feels so big, but still so homey. We can feel like such a neighborhood and such a community, but then we're still, 15 minutes from Navy Pier, where we can feel like such a, fun tourist in our own city.
The energy and just the passion that you see, whether it's in other students on the street or just people who happen to work and live in the city, that is a huge part of what makes Columbia great.
Chicago is a huge town with amazingly talented artists and musicians. I've had one of the most amazing performance experiences at the United Center. The relationships that I've made here allowed me to, come into that opportunity.
I don't think it's only easy to collaborate, but I feel like everybody's looking for it. Musicians want to perform as much as singers want to perform. So it just all comes together and creates something ridiculously great.
Columbia gives its students freedom to kind of find and make their own opportunities. With the business curriculum, I've learned how to balance a lot in terms of budget, people, projects, and that in itself is very entrepreneurial.
Employers who hire our interns and our graduates seem particularly impressed with how well prepared the students come in. And one of the reasons that happens, they've noted, is because Columbia has such hands-on training in all of its fields. A lot of the coursework is taught by people who are in the field, whether adjunct faculty or full-time faculty.
My Theater Foundations teacher is one of the main cast members in one of the most successful improv shows in Chicago history. They're out in the world doing what they are teaching us.
To be able to study music but still study poetry, or to be a part of science projects.
They take classes that you need to take as part of a liberal arts degree and expand upon them and make them more unique and interesting.
As a major in the film and video department, one of the big things that they spoke about was the semester in LA. It was on a studio lot, Raleigh Studios. It was right across the street from Paramount. It felt very professional. Obviously, the instructors were all absolutely incredible.
We're really proud of our Artist in Residence program because it brings nationally and internationally known artists to campus, and at the end of the week that culminates in a public performance. And that's wonderful to see the students perform with such confidence.
When you go out there and people who don't know you say something good to you, it's like, wow, maybe I am doing something right.
Being around that kind of passion and energy all the time really drives you forward to be the best that you can be.
If you're hardworking, you're humble, and ready to work as hard as possible, you will definitely be rewarded for that.
Okay, so I like to show, oops. I like to show the video because I think it immerses you within the setting of Chicago, within the setting of Columbia immediately. So now I'm just going to go through and just show you a few slides just so you can see it in writing about Columbia. So as I mentioned, visual performing media, communication arts. These are some of the examples of the majors that we offer. I think we're most well known for our filmmaking and our interactive arts and media. So that's things like game design. Let's go back to my slides. There we go. And then, so here's a larger list so you can see music, art history, fashion. Again, everything you can picture that is a creative major is something that we offer. And of course, like most universities, you could double major, you could major minor. So oftentimes students will find two of these things that are interesting to them and study both of them. Here's an idea of some of our numbers. Like we mentioned earlier, about 7,000 students. We have a creative learning environment. So all of our classes are small. And that means that your professor will know who you are. You are working collaboratively with your students. It's not a competitive environment. You are doing in your classroom what you will be doing when you graduate, and also what you will be doing when you have an internship. So these are some of the classes that are specific to Columbia that help you merge the arts and Chicago, because if you want to study the arts, in my opinion, you have to be in an urban environment. And so how do you incorporate all the theaters, all the cinema houses, all the galleries within Chicago into your schoolwork? These classes help you do that. Our Big Chicago class, your first year. Our Creative Communities, your second year. So a liberal arts and science major, in addition to focusing in film or in your television or in your game design, you are doing the math, history, science, English, and you're doing your major focus all 4 years every semester. And we're here to support you. These are some of the facilities that we offer that, of course, you can take advantage of. Again, they're not mandatory, but we highly encourage you to help build your community, provide you support. And of course, we offer activities, as I mentioned, student organizations, and international student scholarships. How do you get those? By getting good grades and submitting a portfolio. So our highest scholarship that we offer right now is about $14,000 a year, and our tuition overall is $28,000. So that's not, for the US, that's actually a pretty decent range. And for more information, of course, visit our website at colum.edu and /apply if you want to apply. And all my contact information will be in the chat box, and we'll talk later. And up next is my pal, Sarah.
All right, thank you. So yeah, very much like Columbia, I'm from University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire, and we are also a four-year liberal arts school. And so we have this idea of what we call the power of and. So maybe you find that you're passionate about drawing, but you also love math. Or maybe you want to study some type of engineering and you also want to study marketing, right? So it really is being able to mix, right? And being able to blend those multiple passions that you have into whatever degree that you want to make. So I'm assuming all of you love food probably as much as I do. And so, I like to think of it as buffet style, right? So you can have a major, double major, maybe if you want to put a minor or maybe a certificate, right? So you have a lot of different options to mix and match and to make your degree what you want it to be. And I think the reality is nowadays, right, it really is about understanding. Let's say if you're an engineer, for example, right? I mean, not only are you, right, you're dealing with people, maybe you also have to market or sell your project, right? You have to understand finances. Maybe you're bidding for a project, something like that. But you also have to have the technical skills, right, to be able to make it work, to be able to do the work that you're doing. And so, right, there's a variety of different subjects that are all mixed in there, right? You have your finances, you have marketing, you have maybe public relations or communications, right? And then you also have engineering. I mean, those are a lot of different subjects, right? That one particular job that you need to have some knowledge in. And I would say that's really the beauty of the arts, right? That's what makes it so beautiful, is being able to have little bits and pieces of those different knowledge sectors, right? That you're able to bring together into your degree and make it what it is. So like I said before, we have about 10,000 students. So really it is trying to figure out, it's enough where your professor, you'll be walking across the lawn and your professor will be like, Sarah, how are you? And you're like, oh, I'm so shy, right? So it's going to be that type of feel, right? You really will feel like home. Everyone will get to know you, but then it's still big enough where you get to meet new people all the time, which is pretty cool. Like I said, we have over 80 different majors and minors, so definitely a lot to choose from. Everything from the arts to business to physics, all across the board, depending what your passions are. So definitely you can go online, take a look and see what subjects we offer. But like I said, right, it really is being open to mixing and matching, whether you want to maybe have a language. I know you'll have Spanish, but maybe you're looking at, right, Japanese, Chinese, French, something different, maybe sign language, right? And being able to mix that in with an international business degree. Or maybe you want to study geography, or how about geology, material science and engineering, right? So you'll have a lot of different options to mix and match your degree to make it everything that you want it to be. Again, we have over 250 different student orgs, which I said, like many universities will have. But then it really is, once you decide which university truly feels like home, to be able to make that, right, what you want it to be. And so as you look at the different student orgs, seeing how you want to get involved, we have a large event every year at the beginning of the semester where all the students will come together and all of the different student orgs will be lined up on the lawn. And really you go and you get to meet people, you talk to them and say, I'm interested in this, what do you guys do? And even if you have questions about certain things, definitely feel free to ask. One of the beautiful things about being in Wisconsin is you really get to experience something new. You'll have all 4 seasons, which means definitely you'll get to experience snow. So have fun with that. It's always a magical moment, right, when you get to see snow for the first time. But that always gives you, a new opportunity to try skiing. I grew up as an ice hockey player. Maybe you want to try ice hockey. In the summers, maybe you want to try water skiing, right? So there's so many different things that being in nature allows you to, be able to experience those new activities as well. We are Division III sports, so any of you, maybe a football, we call soccer, right? But any of you sports players, basketball, volleyball, definitely do get in touch with us. And the other thing that when you're trying to find the right fit, some of the campuses, right, around the world will be what we call commuter campuses, right, where not as many people will be staying on campus. So if you're looking for a lively environment, right, where people are going to be on campus on the weekends, there'll be different activities. Definitely note that we are one of those campuses where there's always something going on, whether it's sporting events. We're also very much known for our music program, right, in the arts. We have theater as well. So definitely a lot of that happening on campus and then throughout the city as well too. Just quick, little tidbits here. Our app deadline for this coming fall is June 1st, so coming up pretty quick. But if you're looking at the spring semester, it will be November 1st. As you can see here, tuition is about $17,500. Housing, meals, health insurance, rounding out about for everything $27,000 per year. And then from there, we'll be able to offer $2,000 to $6,000 in international student scholarships. We also have an honors program where you can get an additional scholarship if you're an incoming freshman. We also have research opportunities as well too. As I mentioned, we are primarily an undergraduate institution. So that really means, right, as you're coming in undergrad, we don't have PhD students doing all their research, right? So all of those research opportunities are going to be reserved for you coming in the first, second, and third year, right, of your studies as well too. So just a little bit here, just so you can see a little bit of campus and the snow, of course. But we are very well known for study abroad. So when I was talking before about, if you come study in the US and then you find out, you know what, I want to spend a year in the UK, or maybe I want to go to Australia, South Africa, right? Maybe I want to go to Europe. Definitely know, we're very well known for study abroad. So definitely know that's a part of the curriculum as well too, if you want to make it so. So like I said, my name is Sarah. My WhatsApp is your email, everything else. And I will go ahead and pass the baton to our next school.
Thank you, Sarah. I think, creo que ya Victoria está con nosotras. Victoria, can you hear us? Ok. Entonces, lo que vamos a hacer, chicos, voy a presentar un video acerca de la Universidad de McEwan. Me parece que Victoria sí está por aquí. Bueno, comenzamos con el video.
Is the capital city, the heart of Alberta. And the pulse of our city starts right here at its core. Downtown Edmonton, Feel the pulse.
Okay, I'm going to do a test here and see if I have any volume. Okay, great. So, hi everybody. My name is Victoria. I am the manager of international student recruitment at are a mid-sized public institution like majority of universities in Canada. At MacEwan, we focus on teaching so our students can focus on learning. It's the cornerstone of who we have been for more than 40 years of our education history, and we continue to build on that reputation. MacEwan prides itself on providing a transformative education in a collaborative and supportive learning environment. Creativity thrives here through research opportunities, innovation, extracurriculars, and sports that engage students, faculty, and the community. Offering more than 65 programs, the university provides a student-focused education. And to give you a better idea, we're going to go to the next slide here about our location. So as I mentioned, MacEwan is located in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. We are about 4 hours from Toronto on an airplane and about 1.5 hours from Vancouver on an airplane. The university itself is located right downtown in the heart of the city. And I'm going to skip through some of these slides here just so that I can give you the foundation that you need to know about our institution. Being located downtown in the heart of the capital city means that as a student, you will have access to industry-leading professionals from all different faculties. MacEwan offers 8 degree programs as well as a range of certificate and diploma programs. Degree programs in Canada range from about 4 years of study, and diploma programs range from 1 to 3 years in length. So MacEwan offers everything from fine arts to professional communication. We have sciences that stem computer sciences, nursing, physical sciences, mathematics. We also offer a Bachelor of Commerce degree where students can focus on business, from everything in accounting to international business, supply chain management, human resources. As a mid-sized university, we also offer small class sizes. Our professor to student ratio is 1 to 18. So for every one professor, we have a maximum of 18 students. This enables us to keep our class sizes small so that we are able to offer that hands-on student-centered learning approach. MacEwan's deadline for fall 2020 has passed, but we do have a number of programs that are still open for the January 2021 intake. So we offer all of these that you can see on the screen here. So from the Arts and Cultural Management Diploma, which can be anything from curating exhibits at museums all the way through selling art, to the Bachelor of Arts degree, which focuses more on humanities subjects such as sociology, psychology, economics, English literature. We also have the Bachelor of Communication Studies, the Bachelor of Science, the Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and then we have upgrading programs as well. So the 3 upgrading programs available for the winter are going to be English as an additional language, the Foundation Program International for students who may have only 1 or 2 missing subjects, or University Preparation, which is tailored to students who may be graduating at a younger age or, are looking to leave their home country to study abroad at a younger age as well. So we do have a number of programs available for the winter intake. The university also prides itself on offering generous international student scholarships, and these range from $6,000 up to $12,000 a year for both the degree and diploma programs. And these are offered as entrance awards, which will be based on your final high school results. If you are in a 4-year degree program, you can qualify for what we call returning student awards. And these are going to be based on your grade point average at the university and are going to be available to students through all 4 years, 2, 3, and 4. So before I pass the baton off here to our next presenter, I will just leave our contact information up. Again, my name is Victoria. I apologize for the scattered presentation, but I'm having some internet issues, so hopefully you were able to take in some of that information, and I will pass it over to Belinda.
Thank you, Victoria. We're glad you made it. Good. Ok, muy bien, chicos. Ahora vamos a pasar a la sección de preguntas y respuestas. Okay, ladies, so are you ready? We have some questions for you. So we're going to begin with Martin. He's from Ecuador, and he's asking the following. I am thinking of studying industrial engineering or economy. Where would you recommend me to study and why? Thank you. So, anyone?
That's not really my specialty.
I was going to just say, we don't offer industrial engineering as well. We have a Bachelor of Science in Engineering transfer with another institution in our city. The first year of engineering is a general year. So students would take basic engineering in year 1, and then they would decide what they would like to specialize in. So if it is industrial engineering, you would start those courses in year 2. So I think if I can speak on behalf of all of the presenters, it would be identifying a school that does have an engineering program. MacEwan does offer that transfer. And then you would be going to the University of Alberta for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year of your degree. But unfortunately, I don't have an industrial engineering major, so I can't give you any specifics on that, as we only teach the first year, which is a general year. But I think for anybody, the key takeaway would be to research the institutions that do offer the program you're interested in studying, and then making a short list from there on what would be the best fit for you.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. Sarah, Sky, would you like to add something, or should I just move on to the next question? Sarah? No?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I think the next question is okay. I would just say, yeah, do some research and see, you know, if you want to study both, you will be able to find an institution that does offer both. So definitely don't settle, you know, for studying one. If you do want to make it a double major, definitely find a place that can accommodate both of your subjects that you want to study.
Okay. Francisca says, hey, I'm not entirely sure, but if I should be asking this here, okay, I'm not entirely sure if I should be asking this here, but I wanted to know if you could tell me which universities offer, medicine. I believe you first need to get a major related with science and then continue with medicine. Could you briefly explain this process to me? Thank you. Tough one. Anyone?
So medicine in the U.S., I'll start from a U.S. context. Okay. Sarah, I don't know if you offer a pre-med, but medicine for international students in the U.S. is extremely difficult. There are only a handful of universities that offer you entry into medical school. It is extremely competitive, and you would have to be following a pre-med to med path and spend at least 8 years in education, and that's not including the hands-on learning you'll be doing once you are working in a hospital. So it's possible, but it is really, really, really difficult.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that. You know, we do offer pre-medicine at my university, but a lot of times for international students, right, as Sky explained, it is quite expensive and also quite a lengthy process. But if your heart is set on it, I'll just explain the process a little bit in the US so you can kind of get a picture. But so yeah, you'll do an undergrad. So a lot of times med students will major in something like biology, chemistry, biochem, something like that. But also a lot of people don't realize you can study another major and still apply to med school as long as you meet all the med school requirements. So that means as long as you meet those enough chemistry, enough biology, enough of those sciencey, right, subjects, you could be a history major, right, and then still apply for med school. So I guess that's one misconception, but a lot of students will go for the pre-med route, biology, chemistry, biochem, something like that. And then from there, you'll take what we call the MCAT exam, which is basically your entrance exam into med school. So that'll be submitted to the med schools that you want to apply for. And then from there, right, it's basically a waiting game to see if you get in or not. The other thing a lot of times people don't necessarily think about is there's a lot of other subjects you can study that are not specifically right to become a doctor. So if you think of like chiropractor, or if you want to study dentistry, if you want to study physical therapy or physician's assistant, right? There's a lot of other great medical fields, subjects that you can study that won't take as long, that won't be as expensive, and still allow you to be able to help people in the way that doctors do. So I just definitely say keep an open mind when you're searching the med field to see what other types of career paths are there in the field of medicine.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Next
I guess
question.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay, so in Canada, it is fairly similar to the US, that it is 8 to 12 years to become a doctor, and the seats are extremely limited for international students. There are a number of different pathways that you can take to try and achieve that. But again, it is the same thing that my colleagues have mentioned about the US. The only other recommendation that we provide when we have students inquiring about medicine is the Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Nursing in Canada and as well as the US is going to be a highly regarded profession. It's a very secure job, and in Canada, it pays extremely well. Many nurses can be making upwards of $75,000 a year. And in the province of Alberta, where we are located, it's actually possible for international students to become those registered nurses. So you are able to come to MacEwan. We do offer seats for international students in our nursing program. You won't be a doctor. However, you could do your 4-year nursing degree and use that to apply to medicine. But the 4-year Bachelor of Science in Nursing enables you to complete your studies in that 4-year time and begin working in a very well-paying career in the medical profession. Nurses work alongside doctors. They can work in hospitals, private clinics, they can scrub into surgeries. So it is very similar to what a doctor would do in terms of having access to the medical profession, but you wouldn't be a full-fledged doctor. So that is one option available. We do have holistic medicine such as massage therapy and acupuncture at MacEwan. We do also offer therapist assistant and speech language pathology assistant programs. So again, not specifically in medicine, but fields that are related, and they are open to international students.
All right then. Thank you, ladies. Next question. Which are the requirements for the academic scholarship? Do you ladies offer, your universities offer academic scholarships? Sky?
So for us, we look, it doesn't matter what curriculum you have followed for your high school. You could have taken whatever your national curriculum is, or if you have taken the International Baccalaureate, AP, whatever it is, we will accept it. And then basically we transfer it to a US scale. So anybody who receives the equivalent of a 3.0 out of 4 grade point average, once I've transferred it to the US system, they receive a scholarship. The closer you are to the 4.0 out of 4, the higher the scholarship. So we look at your grades from all 4 years of high school.
Okay.
McEwen is a similar process in that we will, again, take any high school curriculum and convert it to the Alberta high school equivalent, so the province that we're located. This is a percentage scale, so students who are 80% and higher will automatically be considered for those academic scholarships. You don't have to apply to them. We automatically will evaluate you when we receive your application. And the higher your overall average is, the more money you will receive. And for us, we take, I would say, a holistic approach to our scholarships. So we will see your grades, yes, but you'll also submit a resume type thing where you show your activities, what you've been involved in. From there, we'll also see financial need, and there'll be an essay as well. So we definitely want to get the full picture of who you are, right, when we're evaluating for the scholarship. So we don't have specific academic or specific financial ones. We mix it all together in our international student scholarship. So we will be looking at all four of those different factors when we decide how much will be awarded.
Okay. So Manuel is asking, when is the deadline to apply for winter 2021?
My deadline is November 1st.
Okay.
So you have a little bit of time.
My deadline's November 15th.
Okay.
And mine is September 30th.
Okay. All right then. Manuel is also asking, what are the requirements to apply to a computer science degree? Anyone?
I think, Sarah, go ahead. You were first.
Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, so we definitely have computer science and software engineering and information systems. So in terms of those will be the degrees you're looking at. We do require some form of English proficiency. So whether it's going to be TOEFL, IELTS, if you take the SAT or ACT. We do not require the SAT or ACT for admission. So basically going to be your transcripts, financial verification. I would say the normal documentation, right, that we'll be looking at. But like I said, we don't require the SAT or ACT for admission. At
McEwen, we have a Bachelor of Science in Computer Sciences where students can choose from Systems and Information Security, Databases and Interactive Visualization, or Gaming. Those are the three specializations. For admission, we're looking for students to have 2 sciences in their last year of high school. So we would be looking for chemistry, physics, or biology, as well as mathematics, and then proof of English language proficiency. So IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo.
Okay. All right then. Next question. We have Samuel is asking, what is the tuition at McEwen for international students? Victoria.
The tuition ranges depending on the program that you're in. Our prices are calculated based on the number of classes you take each semester. So a rough estimate is about 24 to 26,000 Canadian dollars per year, which is about 20 to 24,000 USD per year.
Okay. Next question. I'm going to take one of the most recent questions. It says, Camila is asking, if I want to do 2 majors, does that have an additional cost? Oh my God, sorry. It disappeared. The question, no, it's here. If I want to do 2 majors, does that have an additional cost? What's the difference between a major and a minor? Anyone? Sky.
So typically, no, it does not cost extra to do 2 majors, to double major. However, you have to complete the requirements for both majors. So sometimes it might take longer than 4 years, which means you would be paying more, but it just depends on how long you take to complete your program for us. And the difference between a major and a minor is how much time you invest in the subject area. In the major, you are investing a lot of time. In a minor, it might be 4 classes, it might be 5 classes overall.
Yeah, exactly. And I would just say that it really depends on the subject. So like, let's say if you want to do music and engineering, right, there's not a whole lot of overlap between those two. But let's say if you want to do computer science and software engineering, there's going to be a lot more that overlap, right? So that can also help speed up the process. So it really depends on the 2 subjects that you're looking at, I think. And then also what other, like how many courses you take per semester, but then also kind of you want to study abroad or looking at those other, I would say, experiences to see kind of what that timeline looks like.
Okay.
Nothing further to add. The girls covered everything. Same situation at McEwen in Canada.
All right. So we will just read 2 more questions. Vamos a leer 2 preguntas más, ya que, bueno, estamos casi al final de esta sesión. So let's see. As an international student, do we fill out an international financial aid form for scholarships, or is that included in the college application? What do you guys think?
Every school, every single school has a different application. For Columbia's purposes, we don't look at finances. We only require your academic records, a proof of English, a short essay, and a letter of recommendation. So finances are not a part of evaluating your admission for us.
Okay. All right. So one more. Okay. What path or set of steps would you recommend us to apply for an international university? How should we properly do it?
I think the biggest thing is going to be, right, as Sky said, every university has their own process, which can make it quite confusing. So I guess my best recommendation would be reaching out, to different partners. There's different, agencies. There's like for us in the US, we have Education USA. So you'll have a lot of resources, but then also don't be afraid to reach out to, the universities themselves as well. Like if you reach out to me, I'm able to give you the answers for my university. If you reach out to Sky, she'll be able to give you for hers, and Victoria will be able to give you for hers. So it really is getting the information and then being able to decide, right, again, which one is the best fit for you. So all of us will have different processes, and then when you mix in different countries as well, different processes too. So it can be a bit overwhelming, but I would just say use your resources as best you can.
Okay. I'm going to read one more question because Dominica has been raising her hand and says, hello, I'm from Ecuador too, and I have been thinking on directing my life towards biology, probably marine science. Which university from the ones presented or colleges will be considered as best fit for my career? So what do you think?
So McEwen does offer a biology program. However, we don't have a marine science major. And the reason for that is we are landlocked. So the province of Alberta where we're located has no water on either side of us. So it's not a great place to focus on marine because you don't have access. That said, we do have a cellular and molecular stream in our biology program, as well as ecology and diversity. So in that stream, you would be able to take some classes in marine biology, but we don't offer it as a major.
And for us, we have marine science as a minor. So again, we don't have it as a major, but you'll do either environmental and ecology. In terms of biology, or again, molecular is a great option. And then you can do marine science as a minor. We have lakes nearby us, but a lot of our students will end up going to do research. They'll spend a semester either in Hawaii or Florida to go ahead and to complete some of those marine science courses, which is pretty cool. So I would say, yeah, we have it as a minor, but not as a major, unfortunately. But you will find universities, apart from us three, that do have it as a major. If that's where your heart is, definitely don't settle until you find what you're looking for.
Okay. Oh my God, we have a lot of questions. So I'm just going to read one more, okay, ladies? Voy a leer una pregunta más. De cualquier forma, vamos a enviarles la grabación de esta sesión. Y también nuestros representantes van a tener sus datos, los datos de todos los presentes. Entonces, sin duda van a tener respuesta a estas y a más preguntas, okay? So one last question. Romina, hi, I'm from the US. I would what? Oh, okay. I would like to get your opinion on the following. If you were to study law, which major, minor would you recommend to a board? Also, I'd like to know about the SAT scores and the student loans.
I guess I can attempt. Yeah, I'll give it a first swing and then you guys can chime in. So from our side, we do have pre-law, and I would say it depends which type of law you want to go into, which can be kind of like, how am I supposed to know? But a lot of students, they'll either go for a corporate, so that'll be more of a business stream, or you'll go for a criminal. And that'll be more of a into the criminal justice side of it. So really, I would say a lot of students will major in that, and then they'll do pre-law as a track as well too. And like I said, from my side, we don't require the SAT or ACT, but you will find universities that do. So it's my best recommendation if you want to keep your options open, and if you have the financial means, go for it. Take the test, see where you land. So that way, if universities are requiring it that you want to go to, you at least have the test taken already.
All right then. Okay, so this is it. Thank you very much, ladies, for participating in this session. Gracias a todos. Les agradecemos su participación. Como les comentaba, vamos a hacerles llegar la grabación de esta sesión, también los datos de nuestros representantes para que se puedan poner en contacto con ustedes. Sin más, les agradecemos una vez más. Cuídense mucho y esperemos que tomen la mejor decisión para su vida universitaria. Gracias a todos. Adiós. Bye, ladies.